Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Buckeye Politics. It's me, your favorite Ohio, and today we're going to be looking at some early vote turnout for the 2022 midterms compared to 2020. And what a shocker, Republicans are doing very well in this early vote compared to 2020, which is a very good thing because the early vote, if you did not know, people who vote by mail or who vote early usually are Democrats. Democrats usually vote by mail, they usually vote earlier. Republicans traditionally vote in person on election day. So, these are the ballots that are traditionally more Democrat skewed, and Republicans have made massive gains compared to the results in 2020. So this is exactly 25 days out from Election Day. That would be October 14th for 2022 and October 9th for 2020. At this point, back in 2020, 73.5 million ballots have been requested. Obviously, just because, have been sent out. If requested means sent out. So obviously, if a ballot is it means it was sent out. So it doesn't necessarily mean it was, cast. But that's what the big thing we want to look at is the ballots cast. At this point, there have been 16 million votes sent out nationwide, and only about 2 million have been cast. So currently, at this time in 2020, 25 days out from Election Day in 2020, of the votes cast, 55% were cast by registered Democrats and 25% were cast by registered Republicans. You're probably thinking that's a pretty big gap, and you're right, it is a pretty big gap, but most Democrats vote by mail and they vote early. So usually this gap is always going to favor the Democratic Party. But let's compare that to so far in 2022. So far, there have been 2 million votes cast, which you may say, oh, 7.5 million compared to just 2 million. That's not a good comparison. When you look at usual turnout for midterms and election nights, and when you look at the turnouts for midterms and presidential years, there's actually a pretty good comparison. This is actually pretty good data. And so far, 51% of ballots requested have been requested by Democrats, and 32% have been requested by Republicans. That is a 10-point shift towards the Republican Party in terms of mail-in votes requested. 10 Republicans are turning out in much higher numbers. In 2020 at this time, 25% of ballots requested were requested by registered Republicans. Right now it's 32%. In 2020, 55% of ballots at this time were requested by registered Democrats. In 2022, it's only 51%. That is a 4-point drop off for the Democrats and a 7-point increase for Republicans. The Republican base we've been talking about, this silent majority that propelled Trump to victory in 2016, got him very close to winning a re-election in 2020, and people were saying they're not going to turn out in 2022. Trump's not on the ballot. They thought the election was stolen. They're not going to turn out for these candidates. These are the voters that are turning out, and it's clear when you look at the data that is actually for the election that they are going to turn out and they're going to propel the Republican Party to a massive victory this midterm. We're going to go over here and look at some more data from this guy here. Let's look at some ballots from the state of Florida. Florida is a very critical state. So far, Florida, which has trended Florida has trended bigly to the Republicans in recent years. And so far today, there were 16,000 mail-in ballots processed today. Of the 16,000, 42% were from registered Republicans, 39% were from registered Democrats. That's absolutely crazy. Democrats should be absolutely eviscerating Republicans in early vote turnout. The Democrats always vote early, and they vote by mail. That's how it was in 2020. That's how it was in 2018. Even before COVID, Democrats tended to vote more by mail and more mail-in voting. You can vote by mail, you can vote early. Democrats tended to vote early, and they tend to vote by mail more so than Republicans. Obviously, Republicans did as well, and obviously there's going to be plenty of Democrats that are going to turn out on Election Day. But when you compare the vote that is mailed in and the early vote compared to the vote that is casted on Election Day, it's usually Election Day is pretty sizable majority for Republicans, and early vote and mail-in ballots are usually pretty skewed towards Democrats. But Republicans in Florida are leading in the early vote. The Democrats should be up. This should be reversed, and probably a lot more for the Democrats. But right now, in Florida, 42% of votes cast, and just today, were from registered Republicans, 39% from registered Democrats. Republicans are leading in the early vote in Florida, and that leads to the Republican Party leading by almost 600,000 raw votes in the Sunshine State. Florida is gone for Democrats. DeSantis and Marco Rubio are going to absolutely destroy their opponents this year, and in which whoever the Republicans put up in 2024 is going to win Florida very handily. Florida is just this is just crazy. Of the 50,000 of the half, Florida is just trending towards the Republicans so quickly, and it's clear by these mail-in ballots. So Florida, it's clear Republicans are doing very well in the early vote compared to how they were, just in 2020. I mean, the 2020 election was decided by 30,000 votes in 3 states. Trump lost Georgia by 10,000 votes, Trump lost Arizona by 10,000 votes, and Trump lost Wisconsin by 10,000 votes. If 30,000 voters across those 3 states voted for Trump, then he would be president right now. The 2020 election was a very close election, and if Republicans are doing this much better compared to how they did in 2020, we are going to see a red wave that is huge, honestly. And this is a very good sign for the GOP. So with that, thank you for watching this video. I do hope you enjoyed, and if you did, please like and subscribe for more.